Gentlemen, welcome to the Cedar Lake Board of Zoning Appeals regular board meeting and hearing. If you would, rise me, join in the flag. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Be seated. Roll call.
Mr. Burnham?
Present.
Mr. Parker?
Here.
Mr. Jackson?
Here.
Mr. Capura?
Present.
Mr. Bungie?
And here.
Mr. Austin?
Present.
Ms. Abernathy? Present. Ms. Snyder is present.
First item of business is an extension request from Pinecrest Marina, vicinity of 14415 Lowerman Street. Petitioner is requesting a one-year extension to their previously approved developmental variance, requesting the construction of a 100-foot by 150-foot cold storage building with an overall height of no more than 42 feet, located on a lot with other accessory structures. Let's see. This doesn't have to be advertised, does it, David?
No.
This is just a revisiting of
It's a ministerial extension of time request. There is a companion project PUD action at the Plan Commission, as Plan Commission members here now. So it's just part and parcel of all that.
Okay. Do we have a petitioner here this evening for that?
Nathan is the one who sent the request in. As you can see in your packets and on your iPad, they are requesting a one-year extension on the height variance granted. It was granted at the BZA last year, August 11, 2022, if memory serves correctly.
Okay. There's a couple of board members that were here. We have a couple of new ones. Does anybody feel like they need to be brought up to speed as far as?
No, you guys approved it last time, I got first the planning commission as well.
Okay. Okay. Well, we have no petitioner present, but since David tells us this is an administrational type of procedure, I suppose we could act upon this.
I'll make a motion to approve the petitioner's request for a one-year extension on their previously approved developmental variance request for the construction of a 100-foot by 150-foot cold storage building with this overall height of no more than 42 feet, located on a lot with other accessory buildings per defined in the facts, or what's defined in the facts.
I'll second John's motion.
Seconded by John, proposed by John, seconded by Greg to approve the extension. Any questions on the motions? The motion? Roll call?
Mr. Burnham?
Yes.
Mr. Parker?
Yes.
Mr. Jackson?
Yes.
Mr. Capura?
Yes.
Mr. Bungie?
Yes. Motion passes 5-0. I didn't have to see it on the agenda, but we have no minutes ready from.
We do not, I just got them finished being proofread earlier today. They will be on your next agenda for consideration.
Should we make a motion to table the minutes from last month's meeting?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
Motion been made and seconded to table the, I guess that would be the July public meeting minutes from last month. Any questions on the motion? Roll call?
Mr. Burnham?
Yes.
Mr. Parker?
Yes.
Mr. Jackson?
Yes.
Mr. Capura?
Yes.
Mr. Bungie?
Yes. Motion passes unanimously. Item number 1, under old business, Olson Group Network LLC, developmental variance in the vicinity of 13920 Butternut Street, Cedar Lake, Indiana. This developmental variance is to allow the construction of a new residential house on an existing lot with a lot width of 70 feet, lot size of 5,971 square feet, to be 11.86 feet from the front property line, to be less than 30 feet from the rear property line, a reduction in the minimum garage size to approximately 226 square feet, and a reduction in total house square footage to 1,472 square feet. Mr. Ostrand?
Legals appear to be in order for public hearing.
Do we have a petitioner present for this item? Would you mind stepping on up and give us an idea what you'd like to do?
Well, due to the odd lot size that's there,
We need your name and address for record, please.
Michael Cash, 8322 Taft Street, Maryville, Indiana.
Me as well.
Yes, that's correct.
Jared Stolmeister, 7400 Lincoln Mill Road, Hobart, Indiana.
Thanks.
Okay, proceed, please.
Yeah, due to the odd lot size, in order for us to get a house with the setbacks required from the neighbor to neighbor, we had to go with a smaller design. The new codes require a 400-foot square garage. With a 400 square foot garage, I'm gonna be encroaching on the neighbors to the left. But it's still a 3-bedroom, 2-bath house.
Okay. And there's nothing on there now. I believe it's...
There was a house when we bought the lot, and it was so degraded, we just had to, there was no fixing it, we just had to tear it down.
Okay. Okay. Do you have anything else to present at this time? Okay. Would you have a seat for just a minute, please? Do we have any remonstrators for this variance? Would folks mind coming up and state your name for the record? And
All of us at once, or one at a time?
I beg your pardon, no, one at a time, please.
Hi, my name is Rebecca Hunt. I live at 13926 Butternut Street, Cedar Lake, Indiana. So I am directly next to the house, or I should say the empty lot. We are voting, or we are asking you to vote against the variances. The direction that they're looking at would put a house on there that is very small, but also just not bring up any of the value of our property and not help us. So we're asking you just to use your guidelines that you already have in pact and not allow the variances to be held. Use the town's variances.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right, thank you.
Good evening, I'm Todd Hunt, I live at 13926 Butternut Street. I would also ask to not allow the variances to go through. It's only 11.5 feet off the street, that's just hanging out there in the middle of everywhere. The house is too big, the lot is too small for a house for the guidelines.
Okay. Thank you.
My name is Paul DeYoung. I live at 13925 Butternut Street, directly across the street from this house, or this lot that's supposed to be built on. I'm asking you not to allow these variances. I put a porch on my house that was existing, and they made me take the stairs and not go through the sidewalk that's going to the street, and go to my driveway. They would not allow me to improve my house, and it was 35 feet, but the stairs were put in at 29. Stick with the variances, do not allow an eyesore. I don't want my property value to go down, the house is way too small, or the lot's way too small to put a house that size on. Our street's small, we don't need parking on our street. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you, Paul.
Diana Petros. I live at 8709 West 139th Place, which is directly north of the various property. I'm also speaking against it, as it also said. The lot is far too small for the size house that they want to build. It's honestly too small for any kind of house. I don't know if any of you've been past there, but it's just a very tiny, tiny little lot. I would much prefer to see the town exercise their right to subdivide the property and either give the property to the house, to the Hunts, because it's just too small to do anything with other than make it part of their yard, or split it between our properties, which we don't really have any desire to have as part of that property. We just don't want to see some massive eyesore of a property go up there. It would also interfere with proposed road projects. Our subdivision streets are in dire need of repair, and to put their house that close to the road would make it very difficult for the town to, in the future, put up curbs, sidewalks, to do the necessary road repairs that are in dire need of our subdivision. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else? Anyone else care to speak, either for or against? Do we have anybody online, Ashley?
No one online, sir?
No physical correspondence?
Nothing about, that was presented in the advertisement for tonight's meeting.
Okay, all right. We'll close the public portion of this hearing. You folks can come back up if you would, please.
Just to counter a few of those few things that were said. First of all, it won't be an eyesore. It's going to be a new build. It's going to be beautiful. Just looking at the notes, there was already a garage there. There will be a garage here. So to counter the street parking, that wouldn't be different than what they have currently. Also, if you're just pulling up public records, the size of the house is actually going to be smaller than the one that was presently there. And so it would be a similar placement as the property and structure that was there prior to us tearing it down. And so as far as a new build, I don't see how that would affect value. In fact, I could see it increasing value in the neighborhood.
Okay. All right. Any building department comments?
If the variances were granted, the lot coverage would be about a 36%. Similar to all older style platted lots. I did reach out to Don on this one. He says that he does not recall having this lot having any specific noted restrictions in the past. Butternut generally has a very flat longitudinal road profile, which makes the drainage complicated until we can get in there and reconstruct the subdivision. That being said, the lot they're proposing to build upon appears to be in a low sag portion of Butternut on this block. Without going too deep into the site plan, his primary concern is that the drainage sheds from east to west across the lot. The roadway grades at 718.3 indicate the driveway will be the low spot, potentially causing runoff to pond across the road edge because the house is now being elevated. One comment from him was he preferred to have a larger size garage, see them put a larger size garage on this lot closer to our minimum standard of 400.
Okay. Okay. I guess my biggest concern is the just shy of 12-foot setback off of Butternut. I you know, if there's no building there, and I guess my question is, where'd you guys come up with 12 feet?
What was it before? I don't even remember. We're trying to remember the setback from prior to. I don't believe that when looking at the other properties, it would be much different in distance from their, most of the houses on that street are not off the street very much either. So there's not a distinct difference between their current location and, to my knowledge, I didn't measure it personally, but to my knowledge, there would be a distinct difference from other properties on that street.
Okay. All right. And I guess my only other question was, if you brought it back into the lot a little bit and went wider, because you are allowed an 8-foot side yard setback on both sides. So it would obviously change the placement of a home, but I just can't see that I'd be comfortable with a 12-foot.
We're certainly flexible with however the property structure itself would be placed. If there's different setbacks you guys are recommending or,
Okay, well, that's not our job to be,
I'm sorry, my procedure, sorry.
But, I mean, if you want to take other recommendations, that's one thing. Anybody else have any questions?
So this 30.5 feet, is that from, I guess, as a concrete slab to your property line? Is that what I'm looking at?
There's nothing there right now.
I'm just asking the measurement,
Oh,
sir.
yeah.
So where you have a concrete slab,
Mhm.
how big is that slab? I mean, you have a patio, I assume it's bigger than 5 feet.
Yeah.
So if you moved, I mean, I've got a recommendation, if you move the house back where that concrete slab is, then you would, your house would still be 30 feet off the back property line. And then you gain all that distance on your driveway. Now, I'm just looking at a house right next door to you, because I blew it up. Yeah, there's a car in there, and it looks like maybe a front porch on Butternut. I mean, that car can't be, it just looks like a normal car. So, I mean, lengthwise, you gain whatever's on that, whatever that distance of that patio is in the back, you gain all that distance, and I don't think the patio counts. Does the patio count for that 30 feet?
It does not.
No, it counts off the back of the house. So if you got rid of that patio, put the patio in the 30 feet, you're gonna gain all the distance, and then you'll be off the road. That never thought of mine?
I thought that, I think from our understanding, the patio was included, that's why we did have it, that was our understanding.
It's not considered part of the primary
Okay,
structure.
that was our understanding that it was.
I can take it back to the engineer, how to do it.
Doing some quick measurements, it'd be about 14 feet in length,
Would be 14 foot.
the concrete.
That patio?
The width.
The width is, well, the width is the size of the
Sorry,
house, but
my apologies,
the
length.
the length,
Yeah.
you have 14 feet, guys.
Yeah.
I mean, instead of having 11, you could actually get yourself and actually have room for a car. I mean, at 12 feet, you have no room for a car.
And I really wouldn't be opposed to, I mean, there is to the common area in the back, I mean, there's an alleyway or two where you guys can get access to the cul-de-sac behind the property, correct? I wouldn't even have a problem if you moved the garage to the back of the property.
My understanding was it required to be attached? Are you saying put it in the backside
Just
or?
attach it to the back
To the
So
side.
I just have to attach it to the back side.
Okay.
Flip your great room to the front, and then move your garage to the back. I mean, just
But
thinking
that
outright.
cul-de-sac isn't even developed yet. though.
No, there's nothing,
There's nothing there.
yeah, you can't get, there's no access to it.
There's no access.
There's no access alley
I mean,
off
the way it was originally, the way the whole subdivision was originally laid out, the front of the house should have been facing the cul-de-sac. The house should come in one street and it'd be a circle and all the houses would be right there. That's the way I saw
I
it.
I did not walk to the back, but I thought in other little pods of that subdivision, that there is access, and that's where the that's where the garbage gets picked up, that's where the utilities all come in.
There's no access for
There's-
this one.
It looks like 3 of them that have some type of either gravel or roadway that goes back there and services the house and behind, potentially 4. This one and the one next to it, they don't. It looks like there might be some remnants of some type of drive between lots 12 and 1 that kind of curve around the back of 12 and go out 11 towards Butternut, but nothing improved back there on that one.
It's an unimproved road, even though it's an unimproved road, they still have to be 30 feet off that setback as well, correct?
Correct, it would have to be 30 feet off.
Is this an investment house that you're selling, or somebody living?
No, we bought the property,
It's
5
been
years?
a few years.
5 years
several
ago?
years. And,
We're just now getting around to
Well,
trying to do something with it.
originally, we were gonna rehab the property, fix it up and sell it. But getting into it, it was just, we were trying to see what we could save, and then we ended up tearing the thing down. It was just unsalvageable. And, now we're looking to use the lot as for a property.
So then you're gonna sell the house? if you-
Yes, sir.
Well, you got a lot of room around that house. You could reposition it, get it further off the street, number one. Number two, you can expand the house, widthwise, and, get it up to the square footage, minimum square footage. Because you got like 17 feet on one side and 15 on the other.
Correct.
And you can pick up, well, you take 16 feet off of that, so you're picking up, maybe 16 feet you can add into the house, which would also expand your garage, and you move it back like Eric was saying.
So that
Picking
patio,
up-
you're
picking
gonna
up
have
more,
20 feet off it. I mean,
So now you're coming more into compliance with the town ordinances, with off the road and, the size of the house and garage. So I think you should take that into consideration and rework this.
Yeah, I can take it back to the engineer and have him rework it.
Pardon?
I can take it back to the engineer and have him rework it.
Well, I think that would be in your best interest to do that, because as it sits right now, I don't think it's
I'm not, yeah.
gonna fly very good.
No problem.
Yeah.
But there is places to gain. That patio, which is not part of it, you can go that back to your 30, still give yourself a 30 setback from the backyard, so the house still has a backyard, and then you could gain all that frontage with the driveway. You're almost doubling the driveway.
If you got
And then
questions on what,
with John adding on that square footage, you could easily hit the square footage that you're supposed to.
You got something to add, Dan?
Sounds like it's been redesigned, and maybe a deferral so that they can figure this out, come back here to you. Their burden. You want to help them when they come here, of course, but.
Hey, what is the minimum square footage in a pre-platted subdivision now?
5,000.
No, I'm talking about for a house. There's a minimum square footage for,
Actually, 1,100.
No, we raised it, 1,500 square feet for a single-story or bi-level house, 1,700 square feet for a 1.5-story or tri-level, and 2,200 for a 2-story house.
those are the guidelines for a pre-platted subdivision?
All R2 residential. It gets a little bit different when it's legacy lots, but those are lots that are between 2,400 square feet to 5,000 square feet. This one's over 5,000 square feet.
That's part of the problem right there, having a 1,500 square foot minimum on a lot like this. I mean, that probably, to save the BZA a lot of trouble in the future, needs to be rethought.
If it were under 5,000 square feet, the sizes for legacy lots are 1,000 square feet for a single story, 1,200 for a story and a half, and 1,500 for 2 stories. So that's the difference between an R2 and a legacy lot.
All right, so you guys got some ideas? Think back to your,
Yeah,
how much time do you think you need? 30 days enough, or you wanna bump it out 60 days, 2 months?
It might be close to make that happen with our.
Can we just come back next month?
So the next
We can-
BZA is September 14th. Any updated information would need to be back to me by September 8th at noon. If you think that's not enough time to turn around, October is October 12th. Everything would need to be back to me by October 5th.
That's probably,
I can get it to you by the 8th.
So, I guess I need a request from you guys to defer this action for 2 months?
do you say that like that? Yes. Defer
Well,
it, or-
Yeah, can we defer it for 2 months?
Okay, you may.
Thank you,
Gentlemen.
All right.
We need to vote on that?
Yeah, we should.
I'll make a motion that we defer this for 2 months till the
October 12th.
October 12th meeting.
I'll second it.
Motion's been made and seconded to defer action on this item. Any questions? Roll call?
Mr. Burnham?
Yes.
Mr. Parker?
Yes.
Mr. Jackson?
Yes.
Mr. Pecora?
Yes.
Mr. Bundy?
Yes. Motion passes 5-0.
Mr. Chairman, the folks who are here, the neighbors, need to be notified now that October is the next time this is going to be considered here, and they're entitled to be here.
I'll update it on the public hearing portion of the town website as well. That way you guys are able to go and see that it's on the October 12th meeting for you.
Will there be, whatever the plan is that?
Yes, any updates that they send will be updated on that site as well.
May I add one thing? I think it's worth mentioning that all of our, we're still in one of the very few subdivision wells in town. All of our wellheads are in that circular, in the circle as we call it, in the back between the lots. So it's going to be very difficult to do any kind of improvements or give them access. The wellheads almost sit right at the edge of this property, where the pie shape is. I just think that's very important to consider.
If it's an unimproved street, they couldn't use it for access anyway on a new construction.
Okay.
There might be some wellhead protection concerns here.
Well, over there probably should be.
Jeff, were you out there?
I drove by down Butternut, but I did not drive around the back. Like I said, I've been in some of the other public access areas and some of the other, well, like I like to call them pods, but not in this particular one, no.
The survey doesn't reflect the wellhead or the parcel.
It's not on the parcel, it's just very close to the edge.
I got you, so we wouldn't know unless you told us actually.
Correct, and it's kind of hidden by weeds and a big log pile.
That probably ought to be looked at for your consideration.
I'll see if I can't get one of the public works guys or somebody out there to take a look at it.
Those community wells are delicate things.
Tell you who knows all about them.
I'm sorry.
I'll tell you who knows all about the wells in that area. Jerry Wilkie.
Oh,
Yes,
yeah.
yes, absolutely.
Yeah, you're right. Thank you, man.
Okay, yes, thank you, folks. Item number 2, under old business, Kramer developmental variance, vicinity of 150-37 Terry Street. This developmental variance is to allow the petitioner to construct a deck on the rear of the residential structure 5 feet from the property line to be consistent with the existing house setback. Mr. Austin?
Legals were in order. This is a continuation, I think, of the advertised public hearing from last year.
Yeah.
So it's a position for you.
Okay. Do we have someone here for the, would you mind stepping up to the microphone, please?
Hello, I'm Susan Kramer, 15037 Cherry Street.
Good evening. Welcome.
I apologize for not being here. I did not realize I needed to be here at the last.
Okay. Well, give us an idea of what you'd like to do.
I just want to build a deck, 12 by 16, that would butt up against the side of my existing home. And rather than, I'm not going anywhere south, I'm going north with it, so it would not exceed the patio that's, or the pad that's already existing there. It would cover it and go 4 feet beyond to the north.
Okay, and why did we continue this?
That is my, oh, because I wasn't
You
here.
just weren't here.
I
Okay.
wasn't here, yeah.
Oh, I was thinking of the one we did where it was a duplex with the screen a couple months ago.
Oh, yeah, that was, I think that was last year.
Was it, has been that long ago?
I think so.
Right, it was.
Well, they just weren't aware that they had to be here, and there was no one here, so we
Okay,
didn't do any action.
okay. If you, sure.
So you have an existing, it's a newer house?
It's a new home, yes, evidently there were changes made to the property lines or whatever. I'm 5 or 6 feet, and now I'm not sure what it is now, but I can't move my house, obviously, so I'm not sure. Is there not a grandfathering type clause for this kind of thing?
No, it's the bulk standard for deck is 8 feet off the side and rear yard. It doesn't matter what your side yard is on your property.
So it's not gonna go beyond my home to the south. Excuse me, that is my alarm.
And what's the, what was mine?
I'll have a fudgesicle.
Oh, from the house to the back.
Yeah, right now existing. That's her house. This product right now, she has how much? So 12 plus 5, she only has 17 feet of backyard.
I honestly have no idea.
Backyard's there, 35 feet.
It's not going,
35 feet.
I'm not going any further back with my deck. It's going to cover the slab.
Yeah.
12 feet is the slab.
Oh, okay.
So it's not going any further back, it's just going to go further north of the house.
Where's that 4-foot extension coming in at then? It says it's gonna extend 4 feet.
4 feet beyond the slab,
It's still
to the north.
It's gonna be 12 by 16.
Right.
Okay.
Eric, just to let you know, it's still gonna be 22 feet off the rear yard setback line, similar to what the patio is now.
Will that go fence?
Right, so if you go south, the house stops. This is my home, the patio's gonna be right here at the edge of the house, and I'm going this way with it, which I have more house this way.
So it won't go past the edge of the house.
No, not to the, no, it's going to butt up to the edge. It's gonna butt up exactly where the slab is.
Why does she need a variance?
That was my question.
The bulk standard for decks in chapter 10, developmental standards for yard requirements, all decks are supposed to be 8 feet from any side and rear yard, not located in an easement. This isn't going to be located in an easement, and then if it's in a front yard, it is supposed to meet the required front yard setback. So because she's wanting it to be 5 feet from the side yard setback line, she needs to...
Well, her house now is 8 feet from the side yard.
5 feet.
5 feet. That's what it was when it was built, evidently that was the ordinance.
8 feet.
5 feet.
Right. And if her patio deck now is 12 by 12.
Right.
So she has 4 feet, she's still not past the edge of her house. She
No, I'm
still
not
has
going
more
past
than
the edge
8
of my
feet.
house at all.
It's because our standard requires it to be that 8 feet versus the 5 she's requesting.
Evidently, the ordinance changed after my home was built.
Because she doesn't have 8 feet from her property line to this corner of her house, because she's only got a 5-foot side yard setback, that's why she needs a variance. She's still following the 5-foot line along her side yard.
Otherwise, you have to come in 3 feet right on that edge of that deck.
Correct, and then I think that would take out part of her access from her back
It doesn't
door.
take that part of my slider.
Okay, because your door's on that corner right there?
Correct. My house is a little different from some of them because of the way I arranged it inside.
Okay.
I guess I don't see what you're saying. Other than-
What is this distance from here to here? That's 3 foot, what is that?
Well, I think they have it delineated up here as being 5 feet, but Ashley is saying that this side yard is also 5 feet.
I'm looking at the right house.
GIS can get a little skewed.
I'm fine with
Can
it.
you tell colors on there?
No, I'm looking at the right house. You already have a 12 by 12 patio, so your new deck is gonna be the length of what the patio is.
Exactly.
So, okay.
It's not gonna be the width is gonna be 16.
Right, but it's still going, it's still approaching what you existing.
Exactly,
have.
I'm not, yes, I'm
So, all right.
just covering up that slab. I understand, sir, I don't understand it either, I don't understand it, so.
It's okay.
I don't understand how I got a 5-foot side yard, because the one next to it looks like it's got an 8-foot side yard. Was there something, I'm trying to recall, wasn't there something wrong with the plan on a couple of those lots over there? Is this one of those?
On the west side, this is on the west side of that subdivision, yes.
So this,
That's probably why it has
Correct, about a half
5 foot.
dozen of them, actually.
That's probably why it has a 5-foot side yard. That's coming back to me for some reason. There was a plan issue that had to get,
On the western boundary of the project.
it was one of the re-subdivisions of Lindsway after the developer, went bankrupt, and so
That's
this
what
was
happened.
Lindsway cottage homes where they redeveloped them into, from the duplexes that they were supposed to be, into cottage homes varying width between 50 feet to 60 feet in width, and they were all given 5-year setbacks according to the, Mylar.
that's ringing a bell in my head.
How old is the home?
It's not.
4 years.
4 years? Yeah, that's what's gotta be then.
Right. 8 years ago was when we did the cleanup.
Yep.
Okay. Do you have anything else to present at this time? Would you mind taking a seat for just a minute,
Sure.
please? Do we have any remonstrators for this variance? Do we have any remonstrators for? Is anyone here remonstrating against this variance? Anyone here against? Anyone online, Ashley?
No one online, nothing written.
Okay. That being said, we'll close the public portion of this hearing. You can come back up. Building department?
There's no major concerns with this one, especially because you're staying in line with the approved setback that was granted. The only thing is, the building inspector wanted you to make sure that you're not anchoring your posts of your deck into that concrete slab. They got to be buried to the rock.
Correct, and they will be.
Yep, that was the only thing he wanted to make sure that was noted.
Okay. All right. Anybody else have any more questions? Right? Huh?
Mr. Chairman, that last item would be a building permit condition. That would not necessarily be part of the approval grant.
Okay.
Inspector would watch that.
What part of it?
She was just informed that when she, builds the deck, she's gonna have to put in, piers underneath through the patio. It'll handle the weight of the structure. Entertain, a motion.
I'll make a motion to approve the variance to allow petitioner to construct a deck on the rear of a residential structure of 5 feet from the property line to be consistent with the existing house and setback to find the effect.
Second.
Motion been made by Eric, seconded by Ray to approve. Any questions on the motion? Roll call?
Mr. Burnham?
Yes.
Mr. Parker?
Yes.
Mr. Jackson?
Yes.
Mr. Caparo?
Yes.
Mr. Bundy?
Yes. Motion passes 5-0. You all set?
Thank you so much.
Okay, number 1, under new business, LLC Capital Assets Development, developmental variance of 13310 West, 133rd Avenue. Also in the city of 133rd Avenue, 13310 West 133rd Avenue. This developmental variance is allowed for the reduction of the front yard setback to 20 feet off of 133rd Avenue for Lot 1, which is a corner lot. Mr. Oshie?
Legals are in order.
Good evening.
Good evening, Jack Hulls from DBG, representing the petitioner, who is also in the room this evening, Eric. Last, you might recall from last month, we were in front of you seeking a variety of variances on this and received a favorable vote from you guys. We appreciate that. There was an omission through some coordination things. It was always part of our intent to seek this variance along with those, and so we're doing a cleanup on that. Our primary plat showed a 20-foot front yard setback off of the north road. Our final plat shows that also, and we just missed that, and so coming back and asking you to consider this as part of that series of approvals and grant us that one also. Findings of fact would be the same as last month, for the record, get those from, you want to have those.
And we approved the other variances 3 months ago or so?
Last month.
It was back in June?
Was it June already?
It was June already.
Wow.
I know,
Okay.
time flies.
Summer's gone, Jack.
We must have done it before we did the primary plat, but we had submitted something like that.
Yeah, you got them in June with primary plat approval, that June plan commission meeting. You applied
That's
for
right. We
the
were,
final
July
after the July meeting deadline, so you guys were on August and that's.
It's middle dates, they always burn it sometimes, you know, on those final plats, so.
Okay. Anybody else have any questions at this time?
We hashed this out pretty good in plan commission in here, and, they came up with a much better, build on the site than what they originally started with. So, but I think it's a plus for the neighborhood.
All right, you might have a seat, please. Thank you, Jen. Do we have any administrators for this variance? Anyone here this evening for this variance? Anyone here this evening against this variance? Anyone here against? Ashley?
No one online, nothing else.
Being said, we'll close the public portion of the hearing. Okay. Building department?
As Jack said, he was actually quite kind. I forgot to put it in their original advertisement, which is how it got missed at the June meeting. So thank you for being quite kind, Jack, but I like to own up to my mistakes. I made a mistake on that one and got it duly noticed and in front of you guys tonight so we can get that final variance for them and get them their final plat next week at Plan Commission.
Any other questions?
Nope.
Discussion? This is a developmental variance, so this is an action that we take here by this board.
I'll make a motion to approve the developmental variance to allow for a reduction in the front yard setback to 20 feet off of 133rd Avenue for Lot 1, which is a corner lot for finding the paths.
I'll second it.
Motion been made and seconded to accept the variance as requested. Any questions on the motion? Roll call?
Mr. Burnham?
Yes.
Mr. Parker?
Yes.
Mr. Jackson?
Yes.
Mr. Caparo?
Yes.
Mr. Bundy?
Yes.
Thank you very much for your
Motion
consideration.
passed unanimously.
Just for clarity, and I know because this has come up on the plat several times, the avenue or drive, we're talking about the road on the north, and for the record, that's, we.
I gave them the one that
Yeah,
showed
we want
back
to make
now.
sure that that was for the north.
Yep, they got the most recent one where it's gonna be the final plat. That just happened.
Item number 2, under new business, South Shore Development Association, developmental variance, Lot A, west 145th Avenue, Cedar Lake, Indiana. This developmental variance is to allow the petitioner to construct an 8-foot by 12-foot accessory structure on the lot without a residential structure and to be located 6 feet from the property line. Mr. Austin?
Legals are in order.
My name is Alice Downey, 14608 Lee Street, and I'm the president of our Property Owners Association, so I got the one voted to do all the work for the variance. What we're proposing is to put on our park property, which I'm sure most of you know what that is and what it looks like, an 8 by 12 shed to store items necessary to keep the park in order. And that's basically it.
Okay. And the 6-foot property line variance falls because you want to put it along the street as opposed to farther back toward the lake?
Well, it's kind of skinny and then it widens, so we're putting it at the, dead ends, right, exactly. And, 6 foot off was because that's what the requirement is. If it needs to be a little more, then that's fine too. Our plan is to have it 10 feet off of, the fence our fence that is next to Buck Booth's property.
6 feet was just because that would technically be considered their front yard.
Okay.
Would that shed fit at the other end of your property?
We considered it, but we thought this to be the least intrusive for all parties concerned. It's across from a parking lot as opposed to someone's home.
Well, I understand that, but the other end is a bunch of bushes or trees or what have you, where you can kind of hide smuggled in there.
Well, that's not even, those aren't our trees, those are our neighbor's trees, the South Shore Golf Course. We're clear, we might have one tree in that area, everything else is the debris on the other side. The bushes or weeds and stuff are on the other side. And it does sit in front of some of the property owners.
So where that shed would lie, that would be next to where they stock their boats, or those little, not little boats, but the little
The canoes.
things. And then across from it is just woods.
Well, across from it is actually, yeah, like
It's
that's the parking lot that goes straight and
then there's a wood
then,
line.
right.
Yeah, I would agree with you guys. I see where you're talking about that's not even your property, and it's a wide open field. If you go right next to it, you're by a business, you're not in front of a house, you're in front of wood areas where there's gonna be no house. They have a business with like the canoes and stuff right there.
Okay. You have anything else to present at this time?
It's a really nice shed.
I was gonna ask, what's the structure of it, like?
It's a Yoder's.
You didn't submit a picture of that, though?
I should have.
Yeah, the bottom,
It's right here.
page 4.
Oh, that's it there?
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, alright. Okay, now I can go
And
far
the-
down.
You said the door was gonna be on one of the longer edges, didn't you?
Right, the door will face out into the park. Yeah, I don't know what direction we're looking at. I guess that would be northeast. Yeah, right?
Yeah,
Northeast.
it's kind of a odd shaped parcel, northeast, east, northeast.
Okay.
No plans for a light around it or electrification or anything like that?
No, we would probably finish off the bottom so we didn't have critters underneath, but for the most part, we do have electricity in the park, but there are no plans at this point. It's so far away from where that would be.
That was kind of my question.
Yeah.
Or pertaining to my questions. All right, well, have a seat for just a
All
second,
right.
please. Do we have any remonstrators for this variance? Anyone here for this variance? Anyone here against? Anyone here against? Ashley?
No one online, nothing received.
Okay. We'll close public portion of this hearing. You can come back up. Sorry about the yo-yo treatment.
That's okay.
Building department?
No major comments or concerns with this one. It's the park, it's gonna maintain their park, keep their stuff inside. There's no major concern.
Makes sense to me.
Makes sense to me.
Me too. The only thing is the distance off the road, off the lake, but I understand.
Well, you have the, there's like a gully there,
I get it.
and then the fence, and then we'd be 6 foot off the fence.
And you're gonna have guidelines anyways, when you go to do your permit, ma'am, there'll be specifications you'll have to do anyway, so it doesn't really matter. We're not here to say the placement of it anyways.
Okay.
Any other questions, gentlemen?
No.
I'll make a motion to approve the developmental variance to allow the petitioner to construct an 8-foot by 12-foot accessory structure on a lot without a residential structure to be located 6 feet from the property line. And I'm gonna call on the southeast corner.
What?
Sound good? Per the finding of facts.
I'll second it.
That would be southwest.
I would bring it southwest.
Okay. Per the drawing.
So the drawing.
Thank you, sir.
Motion been made by John, seconded by Greg to approve this variance request as presented as far as the placements. Any questions on the motion? Roll call?
Mr. Burnham?
Yes.
Mr. Parker?
Yes.
Mr. Jackson?
Yes.
Mr. Capura?
Yes.
Mr. Buggy?
Yes. Motion passes 5-0.
Next, you will need to submit a building permit application.
Did I do that or no?
I don't believe you did. You wanted to get the variance first.
Variance first, okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Item number 3, Tiller Developmental Variance. Owner petitioner John and Kathy James in the vicinity of 7611 West 140th Avenue, Cedar Lake. This developmental variance is to allow the petitioner to construct a new garage of 840 square feet with a wall height of 26 feet to be located 6 feet from the house or the primary structure. Mr. Austin?
Legals are in order for the hearing.
Michael Tiller, 7611 West 140th Avenue. We're looking to add a 28 by 30 detached garage to the west side of our house. And then requesting a development variance to the 6 feet instead of 10, since we're connecting it with a breezeway to our house, to our current house. And then the special use to have an in-law suite above it.
Okay. For public safety reasons, that's why the 10-foot separation of structures is there. And that's pretty important to me. I don't know how about anybody else here feels about it, but, you have an emergency going on and you try to get emergency personnel moved through there with gears and hoses or whatever, and that's why we require the 10 feet. So I just want to give you that right off the top, that's my view on the 10 foot, for the reason for the 10-foot separation.
The reason we kind of bumped it 6 foot is we are going to have to go through the plan commission to make it a 2-lot subdivision since we're purchasing the lot from our neighbors. That's why they're the owner of the lot currently. So we still have to go through a 2-lot subdivision. But to keep it away from their current detached garage, by the time we keep it 8 feet from our side yard, that's why we kind of took the 4 feet closer. Especially since it's connected with the breezeway. Kind of just.
And what's your distance between the breezeway?
6 feet.
So you're 6 feet from your existing house?
Correct.
To where the garage is being built?
Correct.
This drawing says contingent upon purchase of 30 feet. Do you own that 30 feet yet?
Not currently, no.
No?
No, not currently.
Well, we're not in the habit of granting variances for something that, so maybe.
Yeah, no, I just talked to Ashley, and we figured before we go through with the purchase of the property, put a contingent on the plan commission, turning it into a 2-lot, that's why we're
just a little bit early.
In order for him to get that 30 feet, he'd have to go through the two-lot subdivision process. He wanted to ensure he could get the any variance or recommendation to the town council for the in-law suite prior to going through the engineering process and getting the two-lot subdivision. So he requested to come in front of you first before going through the plan commission process. That's why it says contingent on the purchase of the 30 feet.
Is that 26-foot wall height, is that to the peak or is that a sidewall?
That's to the peak.
I think the best way to tackle this is just to attach it to the house.
Yeah, I don't know, we just wanted to keep it separate instead of altering the structure of the house. That's really the only reason, that's why we connected with the breezeway to kind of blend it in with the house. And so we have kind of access to the backyard between the two.
Well, it's two-lot subdivision.
Yeah, so, well,
The second lot is only gonna be 30 foot wide.
you know, flatted to mine.
So what he's intending on doing is taking that 30 foot and re-subdividing it into his, but because then it'd be creating, they need to get that 30 feet from there, they're also going to be making it a two-lot subdivision by subdividing this lot, which is currently in meets and bounds. So what it would then do is create two legal lots of record instead of one legal lot of record next to a meets and bounds.
But then one of the lots would not have a primary structure then, correct?
No, they both have primary structures because the property they're purchasing the 30 feet from has a house with a detached garage. The 30 feet would be added onto their existing subdivision, which already has their primary structure.
The gentleman you're buying this lot from is the neighbor that you're gonna be close to?
Yeah.
Is he a relative?
No.
No.
Ashley, is there a coverage issue here?
No, I think I put it in the folder at the front. It was gonna be about 22% or something like that if the two-lot subdivision is approved for him, and it was gonna be under on the second lot. So it wasn't gonna create any type of legal non-conforming.
Well, the garage would be a completely separate building, of which it'll have a residence, and so it'll be a separate residence on 30-foot wide lot.
His total lot would be 130 by 95 if all approvals are granted. So that's why the variance of use is also in front of you to allow for the construction of the in-law suite above, because we don't allow for in-law living or any form of residential living in an accessory dwelling or an accessory structure. Around the country, they're now known as accessory dwelling units. We don't allow for that. It's prohibited by our code, so that is why that second request is on there.
I don't remember one of these ever getting approved.
There was an in-law suite granted early 2022.
There was?
It wasn't in an accessory structure, but it was in the house.
So one on Parrish, wasn't it?
Yes.
Yeah. But that was one on the main level there where they came in.
It was in the same structure though.
Yeah.
Yeah. It had two separate entrances, and I think it was all serviced by the same kitchen, maybe. I can't remember. It's been a while ago.
My house has two kitchens.
Well, you know, without seeing some drawings, because I'm kind of confused here, where the building would be in at. I mean, the same thing, you go to the plan commission,
Well,
we're gonna wanna see some drawings or something, where this is gonna be laid out on the property and where the two lot subdivisions are, and, this really isn't,
this is more conceptual. Once, if I do get an approval, DVG would do the two-lot subdivision. They denied when I built the house 2 years ago. We just didn't go through it yet. without any kind of approvals.
I'm going back to, you need to attach this to the house some kind of way. Because setting a precedent like this is a slippery slope for the next person that comes in here and wants to do a rental dwelling or something over their garage. If you attach this to what you have there already, what you wind up with is an additional garage with a bonus room above it that you could argue you could have additional living space there, in my view.
Yeah, it would just, the only thing that would be hard would be the access to the second level, based on how our current house is. Because the whole side is, the garage currently sits on the west side. So it'd just be hard to get that second floor access. Well, your access is gonna be there regardless. How are you gonna get upstairs? You're gonna do it if it's attached or if you weren't. Yeah, but then you would have to cut through the garage just to get up there versus... What, going through that back door? Through what back? How do you get upstairs? There's a door on the side. That's how you get upstairs, underneath the breezeway. So you come up and the stairs would be right there. Okay. The stairs are still inside that structure. Correct. So when that structure goes up against the other next structure, the stairs are still gonna be there. Yeah, but to come out of the actual living space that's currently there, you'd have to cut through the garage and then come up the stairs, you know? This way you have to go outside to do it. Yeah, it's more, we did it because we have just extra storage, we don't have a huge driveway and there's really hardly any parking. So it's just really to keep the boat in, we figured instead of just leaving it, open space above it, just put the in-law suite for future use or whatnot.
Okay. Anything else to present this time? No. You might have a seat for just a minute. We'll call for your remonstrators. Do we have your remonstrators for this variance? Anyone here for? Any remonstrators against this variance? Ashley?
Nothing online, nothing.
Okay. All right, we'll close the public portion of this hearing. We'll step back. Building department?
There had been some question and discussion about how attached is attached if it's connected by a breezeway, but it was determined at that time to just send it through the variance process because, again, how much of attached becomes attached, and we haven't quite defined that, and it was safer to send it to you for a detached accessory structure connected by a breezeway. And any type of motions made tonight, if it's in a way of any approval or recommendation to the town council when it comes to the variance of use, recommendation is that it would be contingent upon a two-lot subdivision.
There's a way for you to get this done without doing this. I think that's what you ought to pursue. That's just a suggestion.
Basically, I'll take on the major alteration of our current house.
Might save you the, decision of this board of denying your request.
So you get report for our garage.
Ray, do you have anything?
No, I agree with Greg.
Are you working with a builder or a designer or architect or anything, or is this somebody you're...
Yeah, an architect.
Okay. Might want to consider taking a month out, talk it over with him, see what he thinks. Maybe come back with an idea or two next month.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a suggestion.
Yes.
it's sounding like what I'm hearing out of the rest of my board members, that I don't think you got the 3 votes for it to fly.
Yeah. Yeah, then I'll do that, and Billy's talking to him and see what his options are, see what he can come up with as well. To attach it to the garage and see if it's something that's even feasible really to do with the current house.
Okay.
And you come back, have a little drawing or something, I don't care if it's hand drawn, just how it lays out on the property. Because this isn't really showing us anything,
Okay.
you know, and that helps us a lot, seeing dimensions and what all is going on, so I would suggest that too.
Okay, you think 30 days is enough time for you?
Yeah.
Okay.
You need to request it for,
Can I request a deferral to next month's meeting?
Okay. You may. You have a motion to defer this item to our next public hearing?
I'll make that motion.
Should we do it, can we do it in one lump sum for both? The developmental and the variance of use?
Yes.
Since it's one request? Okay. All right, motion been made by Eric to defer. Any questions on the motion? Roll call?
Mr. Burnham?
Yes.
Mr. Parker?
Yes.
Mr. Jackson?
Yes.
Mr. Capura?
yes.
Mr. Bundy?
Yes. Motion passes 5-0. Awesome.
Thank you, guys.
And updated documents to me by September 8th at noon.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Item number 4, developmental variance, 9812 West 136th Place. Owner petitioner Edward Marsh, also in the vicinity of 9812 West 136th Place, Cedar Lake. This developmental variance has allowed the petitioner to construct a 4-foot picket-style fence to be located 3 feet from the property line. Mr. Austin?
This is the one that needs to be deferred, Mr. Austin.
I'm sorry?
This is the one that needs to be deferred.
They requested deferral.
The newspaper didn't get run in time, so we need a deferral till September.
I'll make a motion to defer this item.
I'll second it.
Any questions on the motion? Made by Greg, seconded by Eric.
Yep.
Roll call?
Mr. Burnham?
Yes.
Mr. Parker?
Yes.
Mr. Jackson?
Yes.
Mr. Capura?
Yes.
Mr. Bundy?
Yes. Motion passes unanimously, 5-0. Comment? Anything, update items? Still wet outside.
Fastest meeting ever.
Yeah, but it won't be in December.
Why are December meetings pretty bad?
Necessarily.
It's already dark out.
Dark.
It's already getting dark earlier.
Yeah.
I suppose we should make a motion to adjourn.
Public comment?
I opened up the, I asked.
I didn't hear you.
Oh, okay. Do we have anybody online?
No one online?
Okay. Last chance, public comment of any kind? Okay. Motion to adjourn?
I'll make that motion.
Sorry.
All those opposed, or in favor?
Aye.
Let's do in favor first.
Aye.
And then opposed.
Great.